Thank you very much. And as university professors, we don't give short talks. So normally we are, and also actually we need PowerPoint slides, so we cannot use that. And also we got little scared of giving long talks after Zoom and when we are talking from home, teaching from home. So that's why I had to sort of look at my notes to give this talk. I like to Sri Lankan guests and family and friends. First, I like to thank the Professor Walter Jayasinghe and the Sri Lankan Foundation for his vision and all the service you are doing to the Sri Lankan community here, as well as our mother country, Sri Lanka. And so it's a truly honor to be among the other distinguished past recipients and who are we already met here and who are not here. Especially I was very proud to be among the rising stars, and these are the people I think are going to be, normally they always say that we can inspire them, but they can inspire us. I think we can do better, even we are recognized for lifetime awards. So I coming from a very small place in Sri Lanka in Kandy, and to get here I had to thank many. And I don't think I'll ever have an argument with the audience here how much our spouses, our wives play and our families play in who we are today. Especially I like to thank my wife Mali, and herself a scientist, but she prioritized my career to raise kids and doing the thing behind, and so I really appreciate what she did, and also my two daughters, Samantha and Tushani, who made a lot of sacrifices very unfledged sacrifices, allowed me to pursue my passion for teaching, research and service. And our son-in-laws, Gideon Trevor, and our grandkids, Sydney, Naveen, Kushal, for making our lives fuller and still allowing me to continue to work without asking when I'm going to retire. So that's really good. I'd like to thank my high school classmate and friend, longtime friend, Professor Malik Piris, who is a friend and a collaborator. He's a friend actually. Then I would like to thank Professor Harendra Fernando. He's a friend and a collaborator, and he especially came for this function. I really appreciate it. And then I try to thank them for bringing my name to their attention. Actually, those of us who are receiving these types of recognition should be humbled by the fact that we are not any special. So it was a lot of luck, timing, and being at the correct place at the correct time. In my case, I was lucky to have parents who instilled the value of education, hard work and persistence in me and my brothers, and I have one of my brothers sitting here, give me the necessary foundation to be who I am today, and who all of us are here today, I believe. Actually, I benefited from my family here in Sri Lanka and many teachers and mentors from Sri Lanka. We always remember our teachers, science teachers, math teachers, because we are in science. But I think we should not forget our history teachers, our language teachers, and they gave us a foundation, a lot of foundation we wouldn't have got otherwise. So we had excellent education that way, in a very broad, in the way we were taught. And also the universities, as you know, if you come from universities back home, we seem to do quite well here because we have a really good foundation coming from there. Actually, those who are receiving this type of recognitions should be humbled by the fact that we are not any special. It was luck. I mentioned this earlier. So the lucky ones like us have to have a moral obligation to share our fortune by helping others. So that's my theme of my acceptance. First, we owe to humanity and future generation to leave the planet in a better shape than what we inherited. Most of my work has been, as I introduced, in protecting water, and which is very critical resource for our survival, and mitigating the climate change. 1 of 10 of the world's population lacks access to safe water. Climate change is going to impact the poor disproportionately, including Sri Lanka. Actually, if you look at the water issue and the climate change issue, and it's going to be mostly affecting the poor. So I think so we have some responsibilities there. And I was very fortunate with all the work I had done around the world to work in Sri Lanka after 2004 tsunami. I did some work on the coastal aquifer salinity contamination, and Harendra also was with us when we traveled to Sri Lanka. And more recently, I did work on the chronic kidney disease, which has to do with groundwater, even though everyone doesn't know this very well. The second responsibility is to be honest as scientists, honest in communicating our knowledge and science to the public, politicians, and policymakers. So we actually, I tell my students this all the time, more and more we learned, we should feel humble about how little we know. So we have the tendency, once you get these awards, recognition, we think that we know everything. So I think these type of responsibility, especially science, if you communicate the science, and we are not honest with the science, then it may be affect a lot of people. I can give examples happening around the world in climate change and in Sri Lanka itself. Some decisions were made based on wrong science, in my view. And the third responsibility is to set examples of being role models and mentors, especially to the young. There are many avenues available, and of course Sri Lankan Foundation is doing all this stuff, and there are others like Educate Lanka, and there's a new Sri Lankan academic network. Some of us started recently to try to develop these connections in Sri Lanka and try to help the Sri Lankan academic universities, etc. And the fourth, importantly, is I think remember where we came from. We should be grateful to the people of Sri Lanka for the free education. This was mentioned earlier. And when we talk about this, actually, we sort of forget the reason we can have free education and free healthcare is that there are a lot of hardworking people in Sri Lanka. I come from the upcountry tree plantation area. There are people, they are the people who are gaining the foreign exchange to get our free education. And now, more recently, there are a lot of people going to the Middle East and work in these countries under very challenging conditions, which allows us to do all these things. So we need to give something back in return to the people of Sri Lanka. And we owe it to them. So I share this honor with outstanding students and collaborate from around 30 countries in the world. I'm fortunate to work with and learn from them. So I always learn from my collaboration from my students. I'm humbled by the fact that many other Sri Lankans among us who have significantly contributed and impacted society through their work and service equally deserve this type of recognition. It is with excitement, profound appreciation, and humility that I accept this award. I thank the foundation and your leadership, Dr. Jai Singh's leadership, and your presence. Thank you very much.